A great defender of F614 never doubted its authenticity. He used it in art classes as a prime example of the Van Gogh technique.
Yeah.
Why cannot I find this?
But you've met my father.
Of course I've met your father.
And many times. You've been to Van Wisseling many times.
Yes, I've met your father regularly.
And you also met with my grandfather?
Yes, surely I did.
And his partner...
Annette Tellegen organized a committee that revised Baartje Lafayette's catalogue for the 1970 edition and put F614 into the rejected works. But I had heard that they had never seen the original, only rejected it because of the Wakker scandal. I hoped seeing it might change her mind.
Have you seen F614 ever? Have you seen the painting?
No.
Never.
Alas, no. I would like to see it.
Because of your background in painting, in combination with you being an art historian, it would be fabulous to get your opinion on it.
I will telephone to the Van Gogh Museum, and if my health permit it, I would like to go there and have a look at it.
That would be fantastic.
Owning this painting has introduced me into my father's world. I've talked to people I've never met before who met him, worked with him, who bought paintings from him. I've talked to a few scholars who advised him and consulted him. And I've gotten to know a different side of him altogether, so that's a beautiful thing. That's what the painting has done for me. That makes me feel very good about it.
We were fast approaching the moment of truth. If the Van Gogh Museum won't admit some possibility of authenticity, convincing the rest of the world will be out of the question. My brother doesn't feel the romance of F614 as much as I do. For him it's a saleable commodity, and if it turns out to be fake, he's got that covered too.
But what I want to do is to create a raffle by which people can visit the website and then they can cast their vote, true or false, give her a credit card. So if 100,000 people visit and spend $50, that's still $5 million US. What do you think of that? And then the guy who gets it, he only spent $50, and then we make him an offer because he can't sell it. So then we go back to him and say, we'll buy it back for $50,000, and then we do it again. And we raffle it and raffle it and raffle it until finally a Japanese connoisseur gets it and puts it in a big furnace and burns it.
It's a tactless idea on
Of misschien liever dat impasto bleek D-Day, and Michael and I prepare a strategy for the meeting with the museum experts.
Dan ook een richting waar de kleurstreek geheel van afwijkt. Nou, dat is inderdaad zo.
How many Wakkers have they looked at? Because they've only looked at this Wakker in total.
Well, there's been some comparative process going on, and then of course during the trial, they had all, like 17 of them.
They didn't, it was no existence. No, I wanted to know about them, Volksmuseum.
Yeah.
They weren't around with the...
No, okay, so that's your question?
Okay.
How many Wakkers have been analyzed?
Oh, the other thing is, if he buys it and he authenticates, we should have the current market value, half of it.
First of all, a museum doesn't have the means to pay out those big amounts. That's
no, they'll have to
something
resell
that
it.
private owners
Still have to resell it, which would make a huge amount of cash flow. They'll make a difference between what they pay.
Why would they bother?
Because it makes sure that they're honest and that they're not doing it out of...
I think...
What, are you trusting about this? When you're dealing with millions of dollars?
I tend to be a trusting person, it's true.
You can make $20 million.
Let's get back to
would you agree to a conditional sale?
What's the thing worth to you?
Stars. And it's Cypress to women, just to give you a comparison of how the paint strokes look.
Okay.
This doesn't look like any X-ray I have ever seen. And since we x-rayed everything in our collection,
Yeah.
and
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a complete x-ray survey, and this doesn't look like anything I've seen. I had immediately the feeling that it was not a Van Gogh, but of course that is it wasn't in a sense not an entirely fresh view that I had because I knew of the Wacker affair and this painting connected with it. But the Wacker affairs has tainted those paintings, of course.
We looked at a very large number of paintings from that period, and it seems that he nearly always used exactly the same type of canvas with a particular weave structure, with an average of 12 by 17 threads per centimetre. And you can see even by visual comparison that this is much coarser.
Well, if nothing's around and somebody could give him a canvas to paint on, that is a possibility, or not?
That's certainly, you can't exclude that, but it's not the usual procedure for him in say release. I think in this side he's made a lot of use of this white impasto to give a structure to the paint layer.
Would Vincent ever do white impasto builder?
No, I mean he would have got this relief in the paint layer. We can compare it with another painting, but he would just apply the coloured paints out of the tube very thickly. If we look at just one detail, maybe I can show that better. Here underneath is a red brush stroke, which you can see at the edges.
Yeah.
And then there was a white one put on top.
Yes.
Followed exactly the same shape. And then there's a green one on top of that, again following exactly the same shape. So, and that's been applied in 3 different stages. So someone's really done their best to follow the shape of the underlying brush stroke.
All of these are authentic Van Goghs?
This is an authentic typo, which is it's on canvas, and it's been stuck later onto board. So that this is painted on the right type of canvas, 11 by 17 threads. But what we were looking at, you can see here. Let me find a clear example here. For example, you see that the sky was added. The tree was added into the sky when it was still wet, and it's pushed up the paint around the edge. And you've got the sort of intermingling of colour slightly.
Has this been restored? Has this been re-varnished?
It does have a varnish layer on it.
And just the colours really jump out.
It's quite vivid, isn't it? The blue sky and the white. This is much softer, sort of more green.
That's right. So initially I thought, well, it has a dull tone to it, simply because it has been varnished with a yellowed varnish, and that would cover up maybe the prominence of the colours, the original prominence.
It certainly play a role, but actually this also has, it's quite a good comparison, because it also has a yellow varnish, so it's not the whole story.
No.
This is where the imprint of the canvas.
And that's something that's really nice to compare with the other one, because you can see that this is done here in the green paint when it was still wet. And if we compare it with this painting, with this one it's been made in the white underlayer before the colour was applied. So you can see, for example, here, it's very clever. Somebody has made this weave imprint in the white impasto underpaint and then applied the colour on top. So the green is collected in the depths.
On a real Van Gogh, the imprint of another canvas would have only happened by accident. On this one, it had been done deliberately. It was a damning piece of evidence.
It looks so calculated in the way it's done. It's definitely done with an intent to imitate or deceiving.
Of deceiving.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, it's a forgery? Absolutely, without a doubt.
Yes, I think it's so interesting because it's such a clear example of someone that knew exactly what a Van Gogh looked like and has imitated the appearance of the surface, but using a completely different technique in terms of build-up of layers and application of colour.
And how good a forgery is it?
I think it's very clever.
In terms of forgeries in general? Yeah?
I think it's extremely clever. It's somebody that really knew how Van Gogh painted and what happened to his paintings afterwards with this weave imprint and very specific details.
Well, an extremely clever forgery. Another question we had was What is this painting worth to you? Do you want to buy it? Would you be interested in acquiring it? A little business here.
Well, a real Gogh might be fun to have in the collection. It's very interesting kind of, yeah, and it certainly has a strong documentary value for Van Gogh research. So it might be interesting for us to have a Gogh.
But we were not ready to give in yet. For an hour and a half, we tried to get them to admit some possibility, any possibility, that they might be mistaken. But every straw we grasped at was snatched away. They were very convincing. Even then, the ordeal wasn't over. Annette Tellegen had made it to the museum to see F614 for herself.
Oh, you will cut that out.
From the moment she saw it, she too had no doubt it was fake, styled on another of Van Gogh's cypresses, F613.
The original painting, this is, to say, the color of green is rather dull.
Yes.
And here it is now intense, and everywhere is the same heavy touch. In here, what may be clouds, you don't exactly know what is meant. And this, though the lines go this direction, it is heavy, and it comes in a way. It is dull and heavy. And here, this, if you see the also mountains here, they are undulating.
I feel like I don't feel anymore.
Yeah.
Feeling is gone. No, actually, I have a different kind of hope now.
What do you hope for?
If we're going to sell this painting, I don't want to sell it thinking, oh, it's a fake, and all these experts have said, this is why it's inferior, this is why it looks like a forgery. I want to sell it saying, this is a really terrific painting. Even the image, I want to discover some of the beauty in it that I saw at first.
I guess I've had it in my possession for all that time.
Yeah.
I've seen that. To me, that's not what's most important about it. I like when things can confuse, the elite, when it takes them for a ride. It just shows you that everything is pretty relative, That people hunt for the name of Van Gogh in such a, in a mad way. They chase after a name, when in fact it's not about the name. It's about the idea behind the painting and so on. In the end, it's really not important who painted it. Even in our case, does it matter who made that painting?
No, I don't think I'm following you anymore.
Have some more beer?
That's the way the stomach rumbles. That's the way the bee bumbles. That's the way the needle pricks. That's the way the glue sticks. That's the way the potato mashes. That's the way the pan flashes. That's the way the market crashes. That's the way the whip lashes. That's the way the teeth gnashes. That's the way the gravy stains. That's the way the moon wanes.
With the same painting. This painting is a fake. It's a fake.
If I'd had any lingering doubt, it was dispelled by the letter from the Conservation Institute in Ottawa summarizing the results of their investigations. They'd found no DNA or fingerprints, but they did find resin in the paint, a trick forgers use to make it dry faster. This was the last nail in the coffin.
And I'm not terribly disappointed because I think I dealt with that long before this summer. I didn't set myself up with a humongous fantasy about how I will own a true Van Gogh, but I feel at peace. I think it's terrific it's here. And every time I come downstairs, I'll be able to see it, and I'll think, that is the painting that reopened doors into the past, into the world of my father. And that's a lovely thing to get after your father has passed away. So this painting means quite a lot. I really need it to be here for a little while before it might be sold.
Oh, is this Wildenstein Galleries? May I speak to Philip Dio Levy? Yeah, it's Michael DeYoung. Thank you. I told him I was in Bar de la Faye catalog, and we might want to sell it. He said that he has one client that if I go to New York, let him know and we'll go for lunch and we'll talk. Sure. Yeah, I have the colored French.
I know Michael feels differently. I think for him, the painting is just a burden that he'd like to be rid of. And perhaps that time will come for me too. But not yet. Not yet. After all, the mystery's only half solved. We now know who didn't paint F614. But who did?